Hey everyone, this is John again with Case Dismissed. Just want to give a quick little video update of certain things I've seen online and just some better strategies going forward. So first of all, this is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney, so don't. This is just for entertainment purposes only. But what I've noticed, guys, is online. You go to YouTube, Facebook, etc. You're going to get a lot of advice. And what I've noticed is, and I've known about this, I guess you'd say truth movement for 10 years or so. And I've done a lot. And really I've created processes that are simple, easy, repeatable, because most, if not all advice you get on YouTube or Facebook or, just from anywhere is theories. And it's always, well, just do this and just do that. But these are also coming from people who have never won a court case, have never won anything, have never officially discharged anything, or have completed any kind of process, gotten people off court cases or charges, even won a traffic ticket. I mean, hell, even beat a toll bill. I mean, most of these people just say, hey, just do this. Well, show me that you've done it. Show me that you've done it from start to finish, that you've completed these processes. Now, when you go to my site and you click one of my processes, I show you, when you click on them and you get the download, the PDF, I've got proof that these processes have worked and they continue to work because they're very simple. I learned that you can't just theorize, endorse a document, and they're just going to throw their hands up and say, you know what, you're right. You endorse this coupon on this bill. You got us. All right, now your monthly bill is zeroed, and we'll send you another one next month, and we're all good. You can go ahead and endorse that one, and you can just get your monthly bills for free every month. I've tried all that stuff, guys. The problem with endorsing a monthly bill is we have too many monthly bills. We've got TV, we've got internet, electric, water, trash, insurance, mortgage, car insurance, car loans. These are a lot of monthly bills, cell phone bills, etc. I've tried this. The problem is the process takes several months to fight a debt because you endorse it, you mail it. And that takes what, a week, maybe two for them to get it. And then another week or two for them to send you a response in the mail saying, hey, we've rejected your supposable negotiable instrument. We don't deem it a negotiable instrument by law. So now you have a late fee. And then you send your, notice of fault, opportunity to cure. And you give them, 21 days or whatever you give them. By the time they respond to that, guys, they're sending you a notice to, cut your service or discontinue your loan or, whatever. And then you're like, well, I'm going to send you a notice of default. And then I'm going to do it all, through these affidavits and through certified mailing. And it takes forever. And you're just digging a hole and then you have 17 bills you're doing this with. It's just, we don't have time to fight all these battles. We don't have time to do all this stuff. And by the time you think you've completed the process, well, guess what? Your service is cut off. You don't have electric anymore. You don't have water. You don't have internet. Your phone service has been canceled. It's just a complicated process. So, I've learned to stop. I stopped doing that. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just fighting. I'm just fighting for no reason. In the beginning, I got the passport process, thinking, oh, well, if I get pulled over, here's my passport. Or if I got sued, here's my passport. It should get dismissed, right? That's what the people on the internet said. I mean, the courts just laugh at you. The cops just laugh at you. Like, okay, yeah, you want to go to jail? Show me your driver's license. Sign this ticket. Well, that's a nice passport. Here's a default judgment. So I realized by getting my butt kicked for 2 or 3 years doing these things that these so-called gurus who don't even get in these battles, don't even, fight these fights or win these fights, or they're just, throwing spaghetti at the wall. It just doesn't work, and it just makes your life miserable and gets you in more trouble. You start getting, lawsuits against you, and then you get default judgments, and then you get garnishments, and then they're trying to seize your non-exempt assets. They want your bank account information. They want your time. I mean, it just becomes a mess. So I finally just stopped and just, you know, started really looking at how I can go forward. And I started learning the rules of court. I started learning, hey, what do they need to prove to win? So once I found out what, these guys needed to prove to win, and then I started attacking those things, and I started winning every single case. And I started really learning what court was. And like I tell people, if you don't know the rules of the game, you're never going to win. You can't go into a basketball match playing by football rules. You're going to lose. You got to learn the rules and understand the game. And once you understand the game and know the rules, you can win. And so I've developed so many processes that are simple, they're easy, and they work over and over and over. To get a free car, when you buy my product, I show you 1099-C. And I describe what you need to do. Same thing with traffic tickets. I have 2 easy ways to beat a traffic ticket that always work. For Texas people, I have Rule 12. How to win using the Rule 12. And this beneficiary form, notice of implied surety subrogation. I file it into every civil case, debt collection case that I have, and the court starts to act correctly because now I've expressed my rights instead of letting the court imply that I don't have any or that I don't object to not having rights. And what's great about this download, guys, it doesn't have one code in it. Not one code. We're just expressing our rights, so it's all equity. It's pure. There's no stuck in their legal jargon. Get the CUSIP is a great tool that I use. Debt collectors, guys, every debt collection is exactly the same. You're never going to have a valid assignment. So what do? You put a counter affidavit into the case with your response. It rebuts everything that they're saying. So when you rebut everything they're saying, they now have to prove it. And if their documents are crap, obviously fraudulent, and their affidavit is not proper, we say that in the counter affidavit. Now, when you go to court and you file this response along with this document, the judge is going to attack that attorney and say, hey, what do you have to say to their affidavit? Do you have someone to testify to provide, testimony to your affidavit of facts and your assignment documents? Well, the most responses I get from these third-party debt collector attorneys in court is, well, Your Honor, I just got this case the other day. I was just assigned to it. I really haven't looked it over. I'm going to need more time. And that's fine. The judge usually gives them a deadline and says, hey, if you don't have this stuff within this many days, I'm dismissing the case. And every time they just dismiss the case because every debt collection case is exactly the same. I don't care who the plaintiff is. It's all the same. And, of course, I can help with your credit, fix your credit. I've discovered, guys, you can't deal with 17 problems at once. You can't deal with 6 monthly bills, all these loans, because I've had a debt collection case when I first started this process. I really didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I had a court case that took me almost 4 years. So do you see what I'm saying? If you have 17, 15, 12, 10 things going on at once, you just can't focus on all that, and it just makes your life stressful and just really tough. So, grab a consultation with me. It's $50 for an hour. I think that's very reasonable. And I just cut straight to the point of what works, how you attack certain situations, and why you attack it that way, and what you're forcing the other side to do. So, I basically live life through what's called rinse and repeat, guys. A lot of people, continue with your W-2 job. W-2 jobs are a really good way to access your credit. And what I mean is, if you have a good, steady job and your credit's good, let's just say right now you have a 700 credit score, you've been working in a place for 6 months or more, you're making $50,000 plus a year, steady income, steady job, good credit. Guys, go to Credit Karma, go get you 4, 5, 6, 7 personal loans at the same time for, let's say, 10 grand each. All right. Or just go get 3, $20,000 loans. That's $60,000 you'll get right away. And then we send them our handy dandy coupon. You mail it to them. They send you a rejection letter. Then we get the CUSIP. Say, hey, I have proof now that you accepted my payment. Now I'm going to send you a notice of subrogation and a notice that I'm going to sue you for 12 U.S.C. 503, which I have a private right of action to sue you for that, and you sue the CEO and their wife because they're benefiting from the scheme, and you sue them for unjust enrichment, or you tell them simply send me a 1099-C or simply just cancel the loan. Now they can't sue you because now you've submitted a payment. They lied on their official letterhead, which they'll say is not them because no one will ever sign it. But the law says if it's on their letterhead, it's clearly from them. You get the CUSIP, and then the worst case scenario is they usually sell it to a debt collector, and you beat the debt collection lawsuit, which is really simple because the original creditor will never sign anything for that third-party debt collector. Thus, their assignment documents are not proper. They're fraudulent. It'll just be a scribble for the plaintiff. There'll never be a printed name, a date. There will be for the all the other assignments after that, but not the original. That's all that matters. And then once you beat the lawsuit, we take it off your credit. We take all those loans off your credit, and guess what? You just got 3 loans discharged. You beat any case that sued you. Doesn't exist on your credit report. And personal loans are not reportable income on your IRS taxes. So now you just got 60 grand free and clear. Go do it again. There's nothing stopping you from doing it again. There's a million banks out there. And if you think you can't get a loan with the bank, go put $10,000 in a random bank today. Let it sit there for 90 days. And in 90 days, you can probably get a loan for 100 grand with them. You created a banking relationship. There's so much things you can do in this world to access your credit. And instead of fighting monthly bills, like I said, and if you need help with credit, we can fix your credit. And also, guys, you can buy good credit. You can go to Google, type in trade lines. You can buy other people's good credit. Go get you a couple trade lines, throw it on your credit. It'll be there for about 90 days. And then go get your loans. You'll boost your credit 100 points or something like that, depending on what kind of trade lines you buy and how much you can afford. But guys, just stop a second, look at your lifestyle, and if you're following someone, if you're trying to do something they're doing, rule number 1 is if they are telling you to do IRS forms, just walk away. Don't even talk to them. Do not do that. Been there, done that. It's a problem. And if they can't show you any proof that they've done it before, that they've been to court, if they haven't won any cases, proof of discharge, if all they can show you is, hey, look at these documents I sent off, that's not good enough. Like I said, I've been in the fire. I've been to small claims court. I've been to county court, district court, federal court. All these courts I've been to, they all have different procedures. They all have different rules. They're all different venues. But I've beaten traffic tickets. I overturned a jury verdict. I've gotten people's felony charges dropped for DUIs, resisting arrest, drug possession, all these things, that are victimless crimes, and they over-indict to get you to settle, but I've gotten all these things dismissed. I know how to, what to do. I watch these videos. These are good videos on how to beat arrest. Just make your life easier. Just pick your battles and try to fight 1 or 2 at a time. Don't do too many things at once. And also try to use people that have proven results. And like I said, when you go to our website and you buy a product, I show you that I've done the things. I beat debt collectors all the time. I help people's credit scores. I beat traffic tickets. I help people discharge car loans. There's so many things you can do. I really like, the rinse and repeat process. Like I said, just think about who you're listening to and what they've done. If they're just showing you funny videos and great graphics and they've got a big following and a cool name, if they can't show you results, I know several several gurus online right now that are just funny. They have funny stuff. They do all kinds of things, but they, at the end of the day, they don't win in court. They don't beat anything. They don't do anything. They just make your life complicated. It's, oh, just endorse this. No. So the reason why I don't like endorsements, guys. So, like I said, if you go to my site, you get the CUSIP. But what I like to do is I like to send my own form of payment so it's independent of the account. Now, we all know that they securitize the account. Well, I don't want to get a CUSIP for the account because I already know they securitize it. I want to send a private, independent payment, tender of payment to the creditor so that I can track that individual document. So once I get the CUSIP for that individual document that is separate from the, your account, now I have them because we know they securitize the account. Now I find that they have securitized that individual payment. Of course, remember, they send me a rejection letter saying they didn't accept it because it wasn't a proper form of payment. Well, if it wasn't proper, then why did I just find it on the stock market? So that's where you get them. That's why I like, what I do, what I call the rinse and repeat. Get a couple loans, send your payments off, get your CUSIP, you send them a little notice, and then it's gonna go away. And then we can take it off your credit once they all appear in your credit report, and then you just go do it again. There's nothing stopping you from accessing your credit. It's your credit. They're using credit. These banks are just intermediaries. They're just buying and selling securities. So, they're just buying your promissory notes and package them together, mortgage-backed securities, for their rich clientele investors that we don't have access to that side of it. But guys, I have proven ways to beat these cases and beat situations. I'm never going to tell you that I can endorse your monthly bills and get those paid for. I can't zero out your credit card. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna ask you to send me your username, password, and zero out your credit card, which will probably just get reversed. I'm not gonna give you a grant. And the other thing that I can do, I can help. My company, Case Dismissed, is a 508. I don't know if any of you know what a 508 is. It's an easy process to set up. If you want to do that, you can set up a consultation with me. And that consultation will cover what you need to do, and I can send you the documents on how to start a 508. Because as you see in my site, everything is deemed a donation. All sales are considered donations. So when you buy a product from me, you're donating to my 508. It's not reportable income. I don't even have to report it to the IRS. I just keep my internal documentation, which is all on the computer. They want to come see the stuff, that's fine. I'm a 508. I have an EIN for banking purposes only. I'm not incorporated. I don't have an LLC. I'm not, restricted by the government or the state and have to follow their rules. I am a private, unincorporated association, kind of like an HOA, or, it's a private ministry, a church. But it's not a 501(c)(3). It's a 508. I believe it's a 508(1)(a). So guys, I can do stuff like that too. If you're starting a business, there's no reason why the first step has to be get an LLC. You don't have to do that. You don't have to get an LLC, and now you're just under their rules. So I just wanted to talk about the misinformation online. Guys telling you just endorse your monthly bills, just do this. You don't have to fight a court case because they don't have jurisdiction over you. Guys, I've been there. I got my butt kicked. I figured out what you actually need to do, and I don't fear court anymore. If you're going to sue me, all right, game on, let's go. Here's my response. Here's my affidavit. Here's my notices of subrogation. Let's go. Let's have you answer this stuff. Now you have to testify, and it's usually just an attorney. I have a debt collection case out of Pennsylvania right now where it's a third-party debt collector, and it's just the attorney. He just put his own affidavit into the case. That's against Pennsylvania rules of civil procedure. An attorney, unless he is the custodian of records, cannot file an affidavit that everything is true and correct. That is invalid. That is actually malicious prosecution, and that's what I countersue. I like to countersue in these debt collection cases as well, because usually what happens is, one, I do it for leverage. Usually the plaintiff says, hey, if you drop your lawsuit, I'll drop mine. And like I said, most of the time people are just happy with that. But in some cases, I get default judgments because they can't respond. I mean, this attorney is filing a debt collection, third party debt collection case against a friend of mine, and he did the affidavit. It wasn't even an affidavit; it was just sworn testimony, a verified statement. It wasn't even affidavit form. Thus, there is no. It's not a proper claim. So I countersued for $5 million, and they asked, they did a interrogatories and request for admissions and all that, and they asked, well, what information are you need to send us produce all the materials you're using to make your claims and your counterclaim. The response is simply, all your documents. Your documents are fraudulent. You're not allowed to put it in an affidavit. You're the attorney. Here's the Pennsylvania Rules of Civil Procedure. You can't do that. That's a crime. It's malicious prosecution. Guys, an attorney cannot file anything. He can't sign his name to a document unless he has verified it's true to the best of his ability. He's pretty much, when he signs his name on a lawsuit, he is telling the court he has investigated everything and it is 100% true and there's no malicious intent. Well, that's obviously a lie. We all know that. These attorneys know better than that. But you know what? The way the court works is, if you don't object, you agree. If you don't bring something up, they just assume you've waived all your rights, that you're this, you're the surety, you're the trustee. You agree to everything they say. You've got to object. You've got to file a response, and you've got to file your counter affidavit. And then that forces them to have to testify. And now, if the attorney did the affidavit, he can't testify. He's the attorney. Which one is he? Is he the injured party? Is he the witness? Is he the attorney? I mean, it just becomes so convoluted and such a conflict of interest. The judge is just going to have to say, you know what, this is getting thrown out. I'm going to rule in the defendant's favor. Blah, 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 going from there. This is just, you just got to force them to do things. You can't just sit back and just say, well, I'm a man. I've got a passport that I got online through this process where I say I'm not this or I'm not that. And then I got a government issued document from the government that I don't fall under. You see how dumb that sounds? It's like getting DOT plates. Guys, you have to pay to get DOT plates. It's Department of Transportation. It's commerce. You're getting a DOT plate. I don't understand how people don't see how dumb that sounds. With this whole car plate process, guys, what actually works is buying a new vehicle from a different state that you live in that's never been registered. And when you take it to your state, you just don't register it. Now it's not in the system at all. Now cops don't have jurisdiction over it. But if you buy a used vehicle that's already been registered, and then you take the plates off and get your own, whatever plates you put on there, they can still pull the car up and you're going to be in trouble. So just stop with the madness. Stop. None of that stuff is expensive and will change and by having it will change your life. Having your own custom plates, not having a driver's license, not having IDs. Guys, those are battles that just aren't necessary. Use your credit, go get unsecured loans. I have proven processes to beat them, proven processes to discharge your car loans. Just get a consultation with me. I can help you set up a 508, fix your credit, get the CUSIP, get a free car, beat your traffic tickets, beat debt collectors. I can do all this stuff, and I've been doing it for years. So, guys, good luck out there. Let me know. Get a consultation, post a comment. Have a great day.